Hi, welcome back to Real Talk with INCODA. I'm your host, India Wilson. Today, I will be interviewing Leyton Benta. Leyton Benta is a multi-award-winning singer, songwriter, and actor all the way from London, UK. His purpose is to bring love and authenticity into music, reinventing substance globally. His intentions with his journey are to leave a foundation to all generations and backgrounds, as there is a song to apprehend for everyone. Love is his reason. How are you today?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, you're looking amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
So tell our audience, what inspired you to become a singer and musician?
Wow. Well, honestly, truthfully, everything was about witnessing to everything that's actually been missing in the world, which has been love. Love has truly inspired me, since a very young age, to start getting into this field, because knowing that I had a purpose inside of me that was bigger than myself. And there was a calling from the universe. There's always that universal feeling.
Yes.
And you know when you know that you're here for a bigger purpose and a bigger reasoning, that was something that I listened to, and I knew that I was here to release a new foundation that everyone can be influenced rightfully on, through not only just music that I create, but for my humanity that I have internally, for the world, as I'm very in touch with it. So honestly, that's what inspired me. I was brought up on good music, listen to greatest artists, some of the legends, old school preferably. And my mum and dad have been in the fields years ago themselves, in different departments of music. So it also helped to influence the idea, furthermore, that complemented the idea, that I need to be in this field, but not only just for a moment, but something, for a very timeless period.
Wow. So it sounds like you had that compassion and your family support, as well as them being a part of your career. So have
Absolutely.
you encountered any hurdles while pursuing your musical journey?
Oh yeah, honestly, phew, if I could wipe sweat off my head, it's really that deep. It's like, since I made the decisions, to be clean-hearted, to be true to myself, to not waver from, strong beliefs, because I've always been very grounded, because I've always witnessed, a lot of, clutter, a lot of negativity that's been infiltrated in the world of music. I I knew exactly what I was going to be and who I was going to be, other than the opposites. And since making those decisions to be true, to be authentic, to be real and honest, that was when everything began with regards to hurdles. Honestly, it's indescribable with how many hurdles or what I've been through to really still be here today, because despite the odds, despite how things run in the music industry, in the industries generally, because I knew that I was here to be a cure and be a reason for hope through love.
Wow.
you know so that's why love, love is the ultimate form of expression. And I believe we all need that, and I believe I was a
Yes,
reason
indeed.
to shed that light on all races, ages, and backgrounds.
So how was you able to overcome, the different hurdles?
How? Well, there isn't really a way of really planning how I did it. I would say, truthfully, is to have the acceptance with regards to the ignorance in the world, because I do believe society has a huge part to play, with regards to, the shadows, and for, the negativity to try and come forward to mislead you into a different direction. But because I've been grounded. I know who I am. I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what the world needs. So
Wow.
it kept me grounded because I knew, I knew that I would be a reason for a transition. Doesn't mean that I haven't had days where I've cried my eyes out, you felt internal pain, because all I want to do generally is just sing to the world. It's not just being on a stage and then, just saying, right, this is who I am. It's like everything, your presence, your message, your authenticity, your sense of community for the world. Everything is always been more than the music. It's been about healing the motherland.
So it
So
sounds like you had a great understanding of the world. And so with that understanding, you were able to envision and see the different situations and hurdles. And with your compassion and love, it sounds like that's, with all that, you had the wisdom and insight to overcome the different things that, may have presented themselves to you. So that's like, wonderful.
thank you. Thank you so much.
You're
It's
welcome.
it's a
So what
journey.
type of message do you relay in your music that you feel expresses your deepest thoughts?
Love,
Love.
I'm not everything I do, everything I vibrate, everything I communicate, it's got to be about love. I take so many experiences of my own life and my journey, right? And from those experiences in particular, I turn these experiences into light. So it's either we can use it to our advantages with regards to progressing and inspiring and influencing good things, or we could do the opposite. But I chose to work on the idea to know that within these struggles and the process of everything, just when you can feel that you're at your lowest are the points of the growth.
Okay.
And I use, and still always working to this day, right? You're always working on something to know that you are able to shine light brighter than what darkness comes forward. So I just knew that if I want to be me, I got to be fully free. And I mean that, no restrictions, because if you want to be a leader, there's many ways of telling that, and that is solely of your internal state and your internal decisions. It will pay prices because you decided to go against the rebellious grain. So, but doesn't mean that blessings aren't bigger than the obstacles, but everything, everybody has their days and moments, but I just knew that this was the time and the moment, that every moment must be lived at its last, because nothing is guaranteed every day, you know. So it's a big mission for me, consistently all the time.
Okay, so if we looked up the word love, we'll see your picture in the dictionary or on Google.
Honestly, love is my message. Love is my reason, and I just see it as a thing where we all have a journey. We all have our trials, tribulations, and I just wanted to use the experiences to turn it into something wonderful, so that everybody who are in dark places, they are able to see that there's someone who has either been in their shoes or been in similar situations, but at the same time knowing that someone can come forward and still shine a light despite what they have been through.
Wow, you have such care for the world. I love that.
It's important for me. It really is.
Yes. So tell us, how old were you when you first started singing, and who taught you how to play instruments?
Age six.
Oh, wow.
Eight, yeah. Age six was where it all began. And how that all started was I actually got forced to be part of a school choir.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't actually a thing from the beginning where it says, oh, pick me, pick me. It actually was a thing where I was forced to be part of a school choir at a Christmas
Okay.
concert. So, but don't get me wrong, I loved music, was surrounded by great music, and always had a melody and always had a good ear for music generally, and always had and always sung a melody internally, but didn't do it, externally. But it took me being in an uncomfortable position, because there was a teacher who was testing people out on certain lines in the song. It was called "In the Bleak Midwinter," and with that song, so I was being tried out on leads. So you can only imagine how nervous I was at that time, because I didn't know what to expect. So when it came to the position of singing, open up my voice, expressing, everybody looked at me and I thought I did something wrong just by how they responded and how they looked at me and reacted. So I didn't know what to make of it.
Oh, they were
So
amazed with your voice.
and I didn't know that until the teacher called me out to afterwards, and she spoke with me and she said it was beautiful. So there was something that I felt was good in me, but unknowingly of what it was. But I knew that there was something there, and the teacher basically confirmed it for me. So since that moment, there was some encouraging words she did say to me at that time, and I will always remember it. So I took what I was encouraged with, and since that moment, I wanted to do more than that moment, because you just felt there was an energy that you had that not many have in this rare world.
Definitely.
So I just put my heart forward, full-hearted with it.
Yeah, so it sounds like it chose you and you embraced it after
Yeah,
realizing that, wow, I have such, you had such amazing talent. What else can you do, with that gift? You can't just like let it be there. You're just like, wow, I need to
yeah.
share this, especially when you hear yourself. So, how did it feel when you heard yourself? Do you think you reacted the way other people reacted? How did you feel? Because I often wondered, how do people feel that have real talent? Because some people sing, but then it's a different kind of singing. And then some people sing where it can touch your heart and soul. So how did
Yeah.
you feel when you first heard yourself?
Whew. Well, I'm generally a very critique of myself, because I always believe in better. But within that current time, at that moment, I believe everybody reacted bigger than how I reacted to myself. Because sometimes, when you can release something, right, to the world, and you know exactly what it is to you. But when it comes to people in responding and respondents to it, it's always something much more bigger, than sometimes what you could say to yourself or what you could feel to yourself. But then at the same time, it gives you a confirmation at the same time of, something did feel good because it moved through you. And it's not like it touched the surface, but it actually internally moved inside of you, that there was something right about that feeling. And so with that feeling in particular, I wanted to expand and work to be, my own working icon of substance.
Yes, because knowing that you have that gift, it's like it helps you express it even more. And people can see the shine in you. They can see just like the glitter and the hope and the love, like you say, when you can accept, that great gift that, the Most High gave you. It's like people can see it. Because sometimes you can have a great voice, but if you don't feel it and believe it, and you're just singing just for the talent,
Mhm.
people are not going to take it in. But when people can see, it's like, wow, this person is really embracing and accepting their gift. And like you said, you have that love for the world. So you're just like, when I listen to your music, I'm like, wow, why doesn't the world know about this? Leyton Benta. It's like, what's going on? It's like everyone should like be able to like know about the love that you're sharing, because our music isn't great music, but when you have music like your music, it's like that positive breath of fresh air, that
No.
people love to receive. So I really appreciate you, for sharing your gift with the world.
Oh, well, honestly, that means a lot to me because I just want to just add on to what you've just said about that with regards to, sometimes, why we can question as to why people haven't awakened themselves to the journey. And it's very peculiar, but at the same time, there's an understanding as to why I see it, as to why people may respond that. But just to touch on what you said, India, is because I've always been beyond my own time with regards to knowledge and understanding and the way I look at life and the way I see the world so differently compared to how people would generally view young people, right? And I always wanted to break the cycle, but I knew with the music I wanted to do, everything always had to be authentic and sensitive. But because when you are ahead of your time, people in the world need to catch up. And it takes the world to adjust so that they be able to receive what you have more. And that's the thing, it can sometimes be deflating for me because what I'm putting out, because people are going about, this is what we need, this is what we need, this is what we need. But it's like, at the same time, there's always a hesitance because not everybody is ready to embrace because they're not mentally on those realms as of yet.
Yes.
And especially with what is polluted in the industry. Because not everything is all for people's best of interest of healing. It's actually the opposite. But when someone out of the away from the sheep, but you're a shepherd, right? So you have a foundation of your own that you created from literally from nothing into something. And because you wanted to be able to do it the way you felt was right, other than someone dictating, this is how you become famous, or this is how you become recognizable. I wanted to do things solely, honestly, and authentically, which was very hard to do, especially when you know exactly where you want to be. But I know and trust in my heart, India, literally heart to heart with you right now, is that I know the right people will embrace this journey and embrace the music. And there's no timing. You can't put no time with things, but am I generally frustrated? Yeah. But am I still persevering to know that there's still hope for what I do? Yes. I know that something will come forward. It's just a matter of, and people will awaken themselves, but only the right people.
Yes.
So.
And it's like everything is not like mainstream. Just because something is mainstream and in the celebrity world, that doesn't make it great. And a lot of people are misinformed about that. So when they see like local greatness, they'll take it, on a basic level, but they don't know that that local greatness is on a higher spiritual, mental, physical plane than a lot of the well-known, I would say stars or celebrities, because what they don't realize, those, the well-known celebrities have financial backing, and that could make or break a local really great spiritual, mental, physical, talent that, is trying to get their music heard. Because even the radio stations, it doesn't matter how great you are, they go by financial backing, who you're connected to, and they can know that you're great, but they're like, well, they want to put you in an industry or place you in a section where your spirit and soul is not used to and will not accept. So it make you feel like, okay, I'm on a struggle, but really, I feel that you're where you're supposed to be, because it's like you said, the people that need to embrace and heal from the love and the inspiration and the wisdom in your music, it's like they're embracing it and they're loving it and they're going to get it and they're going to hear it. And it's like, just like our media, it's like, we're not like on the international scale, but we're on a local, global scale. It's
Yeah.
like we have an audience in Egypt, a huge audience in Egypt. We have audience in Pakistan and the UK and other countries around Germany and other countries around the globe, Africa, that even celebrities don't know about. And, you know, I was talking to some of our audience in other countries and I named some A-listers and they haven't even heard of them. And just because we think someone is popular and famous, they don't know. But guess what? They know about INCODA, and then they'll know about Leyton Benta. So we have to like know in our minds that, you know, we are greatness and we are above the celebrities because we're coming out of a place that will heal the world. I mean, heal the world genuinely and not like financially or because an agenda, or like you said, because of what they say this is the world wants, you know, because someone can say, oh, this person is beautiful. And then they condition the world through media, television, radio, that this person is beautiful. And your mind is like, your eye and your mind is like, okay, I don't see what they see. But then when you constantly hear that, you're like, okay, maybe they are beautiful as whatever, but that's not like a truthful reality if we're speaking genuinely, you know. So the next question is, you know, I have to make sure I write it down because when you get in a certain stage in your life, it's good to make sure you don't put stress on yourself by trying to remember everything. So the next question, do you have any plans for collaborating with other artists?
You know what? With regards to today, here's the thing. I'm very specific with energies and intentions with it when it comes to people and artists in general. I'm definitely open to it. However, I'm not just open to anything because I'm very specific. And it's like, with regards to collaborations with people of today, that will determine what they present, how they present it, and how they present themselves and what their message is. Because I always look at detail in people generally and artists and what they present, because everything determines my outcome, right? It determines how people will also see me. And I'm very sensitive to that, you know, with regards to who I work with and who I do business with or who does business with me, is because everything's all a reflection. You know, it's like you're a reflection of someone and they're a reflection of you. And I do take some pride in that. I'm just being honest, because I want the world to see, someone, you know, who's actually truthful, you know, who's not going to be covering things up just to, you know, just so people are not looking. I need people to actually understand that I'm completely open to working with people, but not with just anyone. They actually have to internally connect and want to actually reach forward for the same message.
And that word you use, energy, you know, a lot of times we don't realize how important that word is in our relationships on every level. You know, you have to have a similar energy. You know how there's a saying, birds of a feather flock together. And if you're like gliding in the world, you know, with a lot of different energies around you that's not compatible with your energy, then it can kind of, you know, throw us off of our balance of where we need to be in this world, because you have energies that are not compatible with your energies and you wonder like, what's going on? Why is this happening here and there? But if it's like there's so much incompatible energy around you, you know, you're not going to reach your fullest. So that, I love that word. It's like, it's great that you're conscious and aware, you know, to stay grounded, you know, in your truth and
Mm.
Don't allow no one to take you off and away from your truth, because, that makes you who you are, authentic. And
Yeah.
people can see, your authenticness,
No,
if I'm
that's
saying that correctly.
on. Hey, you know what? Even if it weren't a word, we've just created one now. you know,
Yes,
but it's beautiful, really. You know, it speaks for itself. You are a projection to the world, and and it's important with what you leave. It's important with your inputs, because your inputs, it's going to keep adding on. It's going to keep influencing people from all walks of life, ages, or whoever. So it's important with what you leave, because when one day you leave this world, you want to leave this world at least being satisfied, knowing that you've left something that everyone is going to memorize and actually feel hope. They actually think, wow,
yes,
there actually was someone who was trying to promote hope and love.
yes.
So it's important for me. Very.
And it's like, it's a great thing to not, it's like, how they say quantity and quality. It's better to give that authentic quality of love and hope, like in your music, instead of
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I have 20 million fans and followers. But if your 20 million fans and followers are, not hopeful and have psychological issues and are in a bad place, even though they're celebrating the person's music, it's not bringing that positive and hope into the world and strengthening the world. But if you have quality and the audience that love your music and you're healing, you know, a certain amount of people, that's kind of like multiplying in itself in the future
Mhm.
generation, because that small audience, regardless of, the size, it's like it's healing the future, because what you give to the world now is going to heal the future generations, as far as the seeds and the souls that receiving your music now, because it's like all that energy is like it goes forth in our future seeds. And it's like if they're, receiving the love and the hope, it's going
Yeah.
to spread on to future generations. So, so always stay positive regardless of, okay, I choose not to be in the celebrity world because, you know, I don't meet their list of what they want, as far
Yeah.
as the things that you're not going to accept. So it's not really what they want. It's just things that they are offering that you're not going to be a part of, and the energies that you're not going to accept. So that I find that
Yeah.
that's a lot, I hear a lot of local artists say, I could have been signed by this company. I could have been super successful, which, you know, that needs to be corrected because they are successful. But society has this Hollywood definition of successful. But we
Absolutely.
have to know that, we are just waking up in the morning is a success. Making
Yeah.
someone smile. And, when you can see, it's like, wow, that person listened to my music and they were like crying and I just made them stop crying. Do you know how amazing that is? That your music can stop a person from crying and
It's
can make a
beautiful.
person smile. And that's just like rewarding to me in itself. And,
Yeah.
it's like, you should be like warm on the inside to know that, it's like when I just like, you came in my feed. I'm like, okay, I think I saw that name somewhere. And I was like, okay, this is it. I keep seeing your name. So it's like, okay, let me go and research him and listen to his music. And I'm like, no, um, why don't the world know about him? It's like his music is amazing, but it's like you said, the Most High, sometimes he wants to share a gift with the right audience. And sometimes it has to be the right audience so the negativity cannot filter into your peaceful world. Because sometimes if you're with the wrong audience, that negative can filter in and throw you off, your mission and purpose here on this earth. What is your latest album and how long did it take for you to complete it?
Whew. Okay, well, my latest album is called Find Yourself. It was released on February the 1st, 2020. And just to give a little description, just to let new viewers know just what it's about. Find Yourself defines the unraveling of soul suppression, invigorating minds and spirits of the hurt through love and self-devotion, the awakening authentics of empowered intimacy. So it took me a good 2 years to literally compose and put everything together. Everything just had to be right, and I always work with regards to, okay, if it's speaking to my heart, that is what I write. If I know that, okay, this is what people need to receive right now, this is what I create. I knew that this album, Find Yourself, right, is global, it's universal, it's timeless. I knew exactly of the sound and the musicality of everything I wanted to portray, the message. And, I just knew that this album, I want to be global. I knew that it was going to benefit many people around the world. I knew I had a mission, because if it isn't right, I will not put it out there in the world. Everything has to be 100%, because once you put it out there, you can never get it back. But currently, it's blessed a lot of people right now. It's blessed a lot of people around in different parts of the world already, which I'm very humbled for. Where everyone can actually find this album. You can find this at leytonbenta.com/music, where you'll be able to find my albums on there, which is also available digitally online, all music platforms, along with physical CD hard copies that are also available, and I'll be humbly to sign as well. But what I want to really say for this project is that, it was very, very dear to me. Honestly, very, very dear to me, and I just knew that it was the right time to deliver it within these crucial timings, especially, right? To elevate, people from all walks of life. That's why I want to be able to put something that is really going to actually lift other than degrade. So it's still in works even to this day, because it takes time, once again, for what we was, talking about with regards to people embracing love or embracing real R&B or soul music. Because in these today's times, people get R&B and soul mixed up. It's completely not the same from how real music existed from years ago, 60s, 70s, 80s, and so on. And I felt that I was an expression, right? And I am an expression of feeding on influences from greater times, but at the same time being my own form of expression to reintroduce that into this today's world, so that people are now to be, you're here to basically calm the noise, to put the water on the fire. So I pray many people be blessed by the album. For those that view this interview, definitely check it out at www.leytonbenta.com/music. And it would be great to have you all on this journey with me.
And knowing that you're multi-talented, just tell us a little about your acting experience. I know I watched, the last movie that you were in.
Girl on the Train.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, just like how the music was, from young, I was always, I was a very expressive, child, at that time, I was very expressive. I loved, I've always had leads. Fortunately, I had leads in school plays, for every play, for every year I did. You know, I just knew that I had a purpose to serve through acting at the same time, along with music, right? Because everything is connected. And I see it as, okay, despite the roots, despite the change of the realms, it's still an expression of who you want to be and be presented to the world. So, you know, how I looked at music is exactly how I looked at the acting. I'm a very deep spiritual person when it comes to the roles that I play and for what I put myself forward towards. Because the roles I want to portray is not the, you know, the stereotype kind of roles, even though once upon a time I may have had a couple of roles in the past and stuff, but it wasn't anything to bring out negativity in, you know, people of color, right? Or race generally.
Right.
I wanted to portray someone who was actually, it's like having an antidote to actually change the world for the better.
Yes.
And being a reason to basically break the chains that are around people's necks. But I see it as, instead of around the necks, it's in their minds.
Definitely, you said it. Yes.
You know, because I do believe, don't get me wrong, right? Not to go too in depth with it, but I believe history has been, I feel there's a lot of dramaticness that have been portrayed that haven't been what it was, but it does exist. But mental enslavement is the real slavery. And that's why I wanted to portray, you know, it's like roles, like, for example, mental health. You know, it's like you're basically the person to be the hope. You want to bring people out from the darkness. So it's the same with music, it's the same with acting. Everything is professional. It's like it has to be authentic. If it isn't meaningful, if it's not going to inspire someone for the right reasons, then you'll never ever see me touch a script. You'll never ever see me take a role, even if it determined that I get this amount of money overnight. Because I don't look at numbers and statistics and stats and views and likes and stuff like that, because it's very irrelevant, even though people think it matters. But to me, I look at, does it have a message to lift? If not, I would say no to it. So I can go further more in depth regarding this, honestly, but let's just say that, you know, the acting is just the same with the music. The music may be my main focus and my first love, but acting at the same time has always been embedded. It's in depth, and at the same time, I want to create the same impact, just like my music. They're all different expressions, but the same message at the same time.
And I feel after listening to your words, our audience globally, they're going to, you know, want to embrace, you know, a new kind of music like your music, you know, music with love, you know, like you said, you know, slavery, you know, is more, it's a mind thing. And I hear a lot of people say, well, we're not free. And I'm saying like, well, maybe you're not free, but I'm free. And they give me all sorts of political, you know, worldly reasons why and situations. And I'm like, you know, if you want to stay in bondage in your mind, you know, that's what you're accepting. But, you know, it's like what you said. It's like, it's in the mind, you know. It's
Right.
kind of like a matrix thing. It's like, if you want to accept that televised worldly view and political view of slavery or whatever you're in bondage with, you know, that's when it comes to that energy, you know, that you have to keep that energy on the side or buried or in a box, you know, or away from you, and, you know, and continue to be with like-minded individuals. But I'm going to ask you a favor.
Go ahead.
Could you share some of your beautiful vocals with our audience?
Oh, absolutely. Sure. I will literally, I'm not going to plan this. I'll just do this in the moment right now.
Yes.
Love It's my purpose. Oh, I just want to sing to the world. Oh, yeah, to the world. All I'm asking is for love to be embraced. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Just little something.
Amazing. Our
Thank you.
audience was just like in bliss of your beautiful vocals, and I'm quite sure, I know that they've been touched with your amazing words, and to know that there's such a compassionate person around the world about their music, about themselves, and about their presentation. And I thank you for joining us on Real Talk with INCODA, and I appreciate, your gift and grace to this world. And, I'm just thankful to the Most High that He allowed us to be able to find each other and connect,
Yeah.
so that we can include you, in our journey and share your story. So everyone, look forward to reading about Leyton Benta in our next issue of INCODA Management magazine. And so, if you want extra information on the questions, you will find it in our next issue of INCODA Management magazine. And again, thank you. I feel just so inspired and happy today. It's like,
I feel very, very for this.
I'm quite sure when you walk in the room, you just like fill it with energy. And so stay on your path, and, don't allow no one to steal your joy. Just
Not at
like,
all.
regardless of, the ups and downs, just like you have to keep that joy and just sing to yourself, when you're feeling like discouraged, because the world throw things at us, just like start singing. Because with a voice like yours, it's like, I'm not a singer, but there are certain songs I sing, and it makes me happy. But it's me singing. So I know when you sing to yourself, when you feel discouraged, it's like, wow, I need to sing a song for myself.
Got to, honestly, like really,
Yes.
where there's music, there's a moment for everyone.
Yes.
Definitely.
So
I
thank you
honestly,
again.
no, India, thank you very much. I really appreciate this. And I'm just, I'm very humbled for the opportunity, to speak with you, and, to speak to, a new audience, just to share, some good love forward, because, it really is so, I can't actually put it into words with how much this is a priority. This is an everyday priority for me. And I'm willing to do what it takes wholeheartedly, soulfully, to knowing that the inputs I make, everyone will know about it one day.
Yes, for sure.
But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.